Can you see my screen right? So today we are going to see this one. Book to reader. We completed this. Today we are going to see this. But let me tell you, I told you this one also, right? So your author, I think this I should I explain you, but again I'm explaining you this. So there are two types of loading in Hibernate. In Hibernate. One is eager loading. Another one is lazy loading. So in eager loading, what will happen? So whenever the owner entity is fetched, the child entity is also fetched at the same time. Also fetched at same time. So here, for example, let us say this is your book class, right? And suppose if I don't put anything here, if I don't put anything here, by default, this is eager loading. By default, this is eager load, right? So by default, this is eager load. So what will happen now here? If you see here, whenever the owner entity is fetched, so where I'm fetching, for example, here I'm fetching, right? So whenever the owner entity is fetched, right? Whenever the owner entity is this one, book, because book is owner entity, book contains this one. So book is the owner entity, and this is your child entity. Okay, this is the owner entity. And this is the child entity. Okay. Whenever the owner entity is fetched from the database, okay. Right. So when the owner entity is fetched, from the database, we can say like this: when owner entity is fetched from the database. Okay, the child entity is also fetched at the same time. That means now owner entity, this is your book, is your owner entity. This is fetched from the database. At the same time, review is also fetched, which is a child entity. Okay. Now, in the book table, see, in the database, there is already a record with book ID. This is your book ID, right? This is the primary key, book ID value. In my database, I already have a record with the book in the book table. If you see here, okay, there is already a record. There is already a record with ID. Okay, there is already a record with ID. One. But in the review table, still there is no review actually. We are now entering the review for this book. We are entering reviews for this book. In the review table, there is no entry. Okay, this is a review table. There is no entry. No record. No record. No record for the book ID 1. Now what will happen now? You will get an error. So since in the lazy, when you are fetching the book, this eager also will load the data. Since there is no record, you will get an error. That is the reason yesterday we got an error. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, since there is no record, so when you try to load the book, okay, and at the time, okay, so you'll get an error. Okay. See, ideally you'll get error when you know. Actually, there is no record in the two. Yesterday, when you got that error, right? Here you got an error. When you try to save the book, you know, at the time it is trying to save the review. There is no record in the review. So see, what will happen is actually it will go in an update operation. Okay. So It will be like this. For now, for your easy understanding, I'll let you know. For your easy understanding, okay, just think like this. Whenever there is no record in the review table, okay, whenever there is no record in the review table, see what is happening now. You see here. In the case of eager loading, this record also, I mean, review table is also fetched. But since there is no record here, and when you try to save the book table, okay, since there is no record here, okay, since there is no record here, you will get an error reaction. That you remember in that way. Okay, it's easy for you to understand. I can go one level in depth, but you will get confused. So that's why think like just one thing. For one-to-many annotation, okay, don't use eager loading whenever you're trying to save the record. Okay. Now suppose the same thing now in the lazy end loading, what will happen is whenever the owner entity is That means when the book is saved, okay, when book is saved, when book is saved or updated, saved or updated. That's why if you see here, in my program, I did not use the review, say session.review, only I use session.save of book. Okay. So if I put cascade type total, whenever you save the book, automatically cascade means propagate. Propagate that operation automatically to review also. So review also gets updated. Okay. Everyone clear, right? So that's why here, if you see, we don't need to save this review. Automatically, if you save the book, cascade type total will save the review also. Everyone clear with this? Now, any doubts here till now? Any doubts till now? No, right? All right then. So now we'll see many to many. Everyone clear with this? Clear or not? Shall we go to the new topic? Just 1 minute. So many books to many readers. So this is your many to many association. Right? Many books to many readers. So what will happen here? Now let me now think like this. So I have now, what are the attributes in book table? What are the attributes in book table? So you have here book table. Now you have ID, title, author ID, this one. ID, title, author ID. Right? So this is your foreign key pointing to the author table. Already we have this author table. Okay. So this is your author table. So where you have author ID. Okay, where you have ID. So right. So foreign key pointing to author. Now this is your primary key. Now we have one more table, that is reader table. Reader table, and this in reader table what we'll have is we'll have reader ID, first name, last name. So reader ID, who is the first name, last name, email. So reader ID, first underscore name, last underscore name, and email. Right? So right. So book ID, author table, reader table. Now if you see here, for this book ID 1, okay, for this book ID 1, which is your title is Java programming. There will be many readers, right? There will be many readers, right? So this book will be read by many readers. Similarly, many readers will read many books. Okay. So for example, reader ID 1. Reader ID 1. Reader ID 1 will read book ID 1, book ID 2. Right. So reader ID 1 will read these two books. Similarly, reader ID 2 also can read this book or can read this. So ultimately, this is a many to many. Many books will be read by many readers. Now in this, where you will set the foreign key, say this is your primary key. So this is your primary key. So this will be your primary key. Now where you will actually set the foreign key. Suppose, for example, if I set here, let us assume in my book table, I'll set this reader ID. Book table. So I have book ID. This is your book ID. And this is your reader ID. Right? So your reader ID 1 will read book ID 1. Right? Now the same reader ID can read book ID 2. Right? Now the different reader ID, different reader can read the book ID 1. Now if you do like this, see, this can be repeated. Say this is your foreign key. This is your foreign key. But if you see here, this is violating your primary key. So this is violating the primary key. Violating the primary key. Because 1 is repeated, you see. 1 is repeated across the rows. See, 1 is repeated across the rows. So this one and this one. This is repeated. Which is wrong, right? Okay, this is wrong, right? Okay. This is wrong. So what I'll do now is, okay, so I cannot add the reader ID here in this table. So this I cannot add. Suppose if I add book ID here in this reader table, here also it will not be applicable. Here the primary key again gets repeated. Book reader 1 can read multiple books. So 1 will be repeated here. Right? I cannot do here also. So either I cannot add reader ID here or I cannot book ID here. Foreign keys I cannot add here. So further what we'll do is we'll create for this many to many. Okay, for this many to many, what we do is we create a join table. We create a join table. Okay. So what is this join table is? This table will have 2 columns actually. This join table, we call it as book underscore readers table. So this join table, what will have is, now we will have book underscore ID, and we'll have reader underscore ID. Now this book ID, you know, this is, okay, this is the foreign key pointing to this primary key of the book table. So this book ID points to the foreign key, maps to ID of book table or primary key of book table. Book table. Okay. And then this reader ID points to, this is a foreign key, maps to primary key of reader table. Only two columns we have, but these two columns will have a composite primary key. The combination of these two columns is a composite primary key. Right? Is a composite primary key. So the combination of these two columns is a composite primary key. That means, for example, if you see here, book ID 1 is read by reader ID 1. Right? Next. Okay, book ID 1 is read by reader ID 2. Right? Next. Book ID 2 is read by reader ID 1. Now you see, reader ID 1 read the book, these two books. Okay, reader ID 2, I mean, these are, we can say like these two books are read by these two readers. And reader ID 1 has read second book also. That means reader ID 1 has read two books and reader ID 2 has read one book. See, by seeing like this, reader ID 1 has read book ID 1, reader ID 1 has read book ID 2 also, these two. And reader ID 2 has read this book ID 1. Now, if you see, now the combination of these two columns is a composite primary key. That means, what is a composite primary? You know, the combination should be unique. See, what is the first row combination? 1, 1. What is the second row combination? 1, 2. What is the third row combination? 2, 1. Now, is the combination unique, right? Yes, this combination is unique. This combination is not repeated anywhere. Similarly, this combination is unique. This combination is not repeated anywhere. This combination is unique. This combination is not repeated. So that's why it is called composite primary. But the individual columns, this column points to the primary key of this table. This column points to the primary key of this table. The combinations, that's what we call it a composite primary. The combination is unique actually. So in this way, the many-to-many association is maintained. Any doubts till now? Any doubts till now? Questions here? Okay, reader 1 read many books, so that's why it is many-to-many. See, reader 1 can read many books, reader 2 can read many books, or one book is read by many readers. Like that, it is a many-to-many. So many, that's why it's called many books are read by many readers. Right? Any doubts till now? Clear this concept? Right? Now we have to create a new table, right? So we have to create a new table, this table, book underscore reader. Shall we create now? Let me create. Right? So use book application, show tables. Now I have to create one more table, book underscore review. So let me copy paste this and I'll create in a similar lines. So I'll have book underscore review. Book underscore reader. Right? Book underscore reader only, right? Now I'll have now book underscore ID. Right? And then reader underscore ID. But reader table is not there, right? I first have to create reader table also. First, let me create reader table first. Reader table is also not there. So I'll say ID into 20. Next, I'll say first underscore name. Reader table I have to create first. First underscore name. Next, last underscore name. Right? Next, email. Email. Next, I'll say var of 50. Next, a primary key of ID. I think we don't have any foreign key in this table. Let me create this. Okay, reader table is created. Now I'll create book reader table. Book underscore reader table. In this, what are the different scenarios? Now I'll have book underscore ID. Right? Next, reader underscore ID. Next, I'll have primary key of book underscore ID. So primary key of this combination. These both combinations is your primary key. Comma, reader ID. And then I'll say key, right? I'll say something like let me do it once again. Book underscore reader. Book underscore ID. Reader underscore ID. This is not there. Okay, primary key of book underscore ID, comma, composite primary key, right? It is a combination of two columns. Reader ID. Then here I'll say FK book reader constraint, or I'll say FK book, I'll say. Okay, book. Or I can remove this, not required. So FK book underscore reader constraint foreign key of book ID references book table of ID. Similarly, I have one more constraint. Two foreign keys, right? So I'll put this as a raider ID, references, raider of it. So now let me now create this. Okay. I think this is int, right? Okay, this is not null, sorry. Comma. Okay, here I have to remove the comma. Okay. So table got created, hook underscore raider got created. Okay. Now what I'll do, here, now I have to create now two entity classes, right? One is raider I have to create, right? I want to create, right, raider. Let me create that raider then. New class raider. Right. Entity table, entity table. So raider. So here I'll say, right, name equal to raider. Right. So what I'll do is now I'll say ID, right? So then what are the columns? Raider table. ID, first name, last name, email. Okay. ID, raider ID. Here I'll say column, name equal to ID only. So I'll just copy paste this. First underscore name. This will be string first underscore name. Next is last underscore name. Right. Then email. Email. Right. So I'll generate setters and getters. Source, generate getters and setters. Right. Now, right. Now, this is your reader. Now, we have to see some scenario here. What is that scenario is? One reader will be associated with multiple books, right? See, one reader is associated with multiple books. Reader one is reading two books. Similarly, reader two is reading one book. So one reader can read multiple books. So here what we have to do? Here we have to have list of books. Private. Okay. So I'll say list book. Books. Right. So one reader can be associated with multiple books, list of books. So here I'll say many to many. Many to many, right? And here again I'll say fetch equal to fetch type. Fetch type dot lazy, right? And then I'll say here cascade type equal to all, right? And then here I'll say a join. See, in the book and all this, we have used join column. But now we have to use in many to many join table actually. I'll tell you what is this. Join table. Here I'll say name equal to book underscore. I will explain you what is this. Book underscore reader. Okay. Then I'll say join columns is equal to @join column. So name equal to reader underscore ID. Okay. Comma inverse join columns. Columns is equal. I'll tell you what is this. Okay. Join column of book underscore ID. Okay. I'll tell you what is this. Okay. See, this is your reader class. This is your reader class. In the reader class, you have this one. Right. So you have like this. You have like this. Now you see. So one reader can have many books. One reader can have many books. Now, okay, this you know already, many to many. Now, this join table is this new table. Whatever this table is, right? So this table is a join table. Now, in this table is this one. Now, in this table, we have join columns. In this, so this will always, okay. So this reader ID, okay. So if you see here, this will point to the, so this will point to the, let us give it. So this will point to the book reader table. book reader table, and this will point to the okay, reader ID. This will point to reader ID of book reader table. That means this one. So this name, okay, this name is pointing to this, right? And this points to inverse join. See, join column means, see, this reader ID belongs to this is a foreign key that maps to the primary key of this reader table. So whenever you are reading from reader, okay, this join column, so this will point to this column, okay, and then this column, okay, this column point to the book ID of book reader table. That means this one. So this, whatever you put in join column, this will be part of this one. And whatever you put in inverse join column, this will be this one. Now you are written for reader. Now book also you have to write in the same way. So what I'll do in my book, see, one reader can read multiple books. Similarly, one book is read by multiple readers, right? So in book also we have to use the same thing. But here here you have to put book ID, and here you have to put reader ID, and here you have to put reader, and here you have to put readers. So one book, multiple readers. Similarly, one reader, multiple books. In other words, we can say many readers, many books, right? Similarly, many books, many readers. Now here what I am doing now in my class book, okay, here what I'll do, now I'll put here many to many, right? So now you see here, again, this points to the book reader table. That means this table points to book reader table, right? And this points to the book reader table means this one. So this points to the book ID column of book reader table. So that means this one, book ID column of this one, and this points to the. So that's what. See, if you see, this is reverse. In the join columns, here you put reader ID. Inverse join columns, you put book ID. Here in join columns, you put book ID. Inverse join columns, you put reader ID. So whenever you're referring the class from book, your join column should be book ID. Inverse join column should be reader ID. Whenever you're referring from reader, your join column should be reader ID. Inverse join column should be book ID. Now this will be points to the reader ID column of Trader ID column of book table, book underscore trader table. That means this one. So in this way, you are going to. Everyone understood this? I think you should just follow this. That's all. See, for the logic behind many to many is one separate table. Everyone understood this? Any doubts here? I mean, just you have to just remember this. Like whenever you say join column, when you are referring from radar, this will be your radar ID, where this radar ID points to the primary key of this table. Right? So yeah, it will be a bit difficult, but I know, but you have to just practice this. Yeah, one thing I want to tell you, one correction I have to tell you. Okay. So one correction I have to tell you. Here I told you actually in one-to-many, in one-to-many, the default loading is not eager loading. Okay. Okay, 1 minute till 10. So here just one correction. After that, I remembered that here I just so here you say fetch equal to fetch type dot eager. Okay. Cascade equal to cascade type dot all. Okay. You have to specify. So this is your eager loading. Okay. So your default loading is lazy. That means if you don't specify this also, it will be lazy loading. Okay. So this is the default loading in one-to-many. Remember. After I explained you, I remembered actually. Okay. So the default loading is lazy, not eager. I told eager, right? No. If I don't specify lazy also, it will be lazy only. Default loading. Default loading means even if I don't specify this, that will be lazy. Actually, I'll give one table. I remember one table so that you can remember. Suppose I have mapping, say 1-to-1 map. So here I'll say default fetch type. Okay. Now I'll say 1-to-1. If my annotation is 1-to-1, then it will be eager. So even if I don't specify fetch type, it is eager. Okay, it is eager. Right? And if I say 1-to-many, okay, the default fetch type is lazy. Okay. Suppose if it is many-to-one, the default type is eager. And many-to-many, the default type is lazy. You remember this table actually. Even if I don't specify fetch types, by default, this will be the values. So because exception occurred because yesterday I was also trying to save review. Review doesn't have record, right? So that's why. See, what happened is, though it is lazy or eager, since review does not have that record, that's why yesterday. Yesterday it was actually that is issue, but default type is eager actually. Default type is lazy for one to many. Okay, but for one to one it is eager. For one to many it is lazy. Many to one eager. Many to many lazy. Just remember this. Okay. Just remember this. Now for many to many also, even if I don't specify this one, it is lazy one. Okay. See, what I'll do is just if you can wait for 2 minutes, I'll actually share one PPT that I prepared 1 minute. Okay. Okay. See, I prepared this PPT. See, here you have a data model like this. Okay. Then I prepared like, see, one-to-one unidirectional, where this author details ID join column. This refers to the column of author table. This we haven't seen yet. Okay. This I'll tell you. Bidirectional we haven't seen, because here we have one new attribute called mapped by. I'll tell you what is this. This we haven't seen. Now see, many to one unidirectional between book and author. Okay, now join column. This refers to the author ID foreign key column of book table. Okay, many to one bidirectional we haven't seen here, because here we have mapped by. See, bidirectional we haven't seen till now. Only unidirectional we have seen. Next is many to many association between book and reader. That's what I told you earlier. See, many to one book, readers. So join table, join column, inverse join columns. So this points to book reader join table. This points to book ID column of book reader table. This points to reader ID column of book reader table. Here it will be reverse from the reader. So this will be point to the reader ID of book reader table, and this points to the book ID column of book reader table. And one-to-many unidirectional, you see. So here I told this points to book ID form of review table. Reverse. Yesterday, if you remember. This one, reverse. Here, this join column refers here, this join column refers here, but here the join column refers here. That's what I was, this one. That is this table. Okay, so, and here I have put like the default types, like, okay, default fetch types. For one-to-one, it is eager. For one-to-many, lazy. Many-to-one, eager. Many-to-many, lazy. Okay, so this is your complete Hibernate thing. So, okay. So I'll tell you what are these, like, we have caching, Hibernate caching and all. So first let me complete these associations. So still we are in these associations. So I completed one-to-one unidirectional, many-to-one unidirectional, many-to-many association. Okay. But one-to-many unidirectional also I covered. What I have to cover? Bidirectional. Bidirectional between one-to-one and bidirectional between many-to-one. These two I have to cover. I'll share you this PPT. Okay. I'll share you this PPT. So what I'll do is I'll share you this PPT. Then, so what I'll do is tomorrow I'll work on this program. Okay. Now we have done right. Now what I have to do, I have to now save the data now, right? In many to many, I have to now do the save. Tomorrow I'll add this. So what I'll do, I'll add it. Now I'll say a dot save book readers. So this is the method I have to do. So this is for save book reviews is for one book, many reviews, right? This is one to many, right? Next, the save author and author, it is for one to one. Right? Next, save books and author. This is your one author, many books. So many to one. Save books by authors. So this is many to one. Now this will be your many to many. So tomorrow I'm going to write this method. And I'll share you this PPT. Okay, this will be very useful for your interview point of view. I prepared this actually for the, see, Hibernate I have taken almost, the last batch I have taken is almost more than, I think 2 years it has been over. I think in 2021 I took Hibernate batch. 2020, no, 2021, yeah, 2021, no, 2020 ending I have taken Hibernate batch. Almost 2 years. After that, for you, this time, but at the time I prepared this PPT. That is the reason when I was telling, I forgot actually this one to many fetch type is lazy and I told you eager. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes it will happen. So, but I prepared this PPT during the time. I'll share this. This is very, very useful for your interview point of view. So we haven't seen the bidirectional. I'll upload. So what I'll do is I'll upload now only 1 minute so that you can go through this. 1 minute. Oh. 1 minute. so that you can just okay. So I'll just upload in the Google Classroom link. So what I'll do, programs also I'll upload. See, just you got the PPT or not in the Google Classroom link? Can you check? So programs also I'll upload. Okay, 1 minute. Huh? So I'll upload here. I'll post this. So then I'll upload this SQL SQL scripts also you need, right? Right? One minute. SQL scripts also you need, right? So now what I'll do is just 1 minute. Hibernate. Hibernate. Association SQL scripts. So did you get, everyone has got the things? Just see, I uploaded all this. Everyone got? Let me know you got or not. You got or not? Just verify and let me know. Yes, right? All right then. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we'll complete this program. This many to many association will complete tomorrow. All right then. Okay. See you tomorrow. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow is holiday. Not sure if. Okay. Let me check with Initiate. Okay then. Thank you all.